Welcome to I Am Her, where spiritual meets spicy, F-bombs meet forgiveness, and shadow work occasionally throws glitter.
All right, everybody, welcome to I Am Her, episode number 6. I am Emmy.
And I'm Thylene.
And we have a very special guest with us tonight, Alisa Cooper. Welcome to our podcast, Alisa. Thank you for being our very first guest.
Oh my gosh, I'm so honored and so grateful. Thank you for having me. So exciting.
Alisa is an Amazon #1 best-selling author. She's the founder of Cocoon to Butterfly and The Quantum Healer. She's been an entrepreneur for 35 years and has made over $51 million in sales. So we're very, very honored to have you here because we've already talked a lot about you on our other episodes if you haven't listened.
Yep. I think every episode Alisa comes up at least once.
Yep. Yeah. So you'll have to go back and watch them. Anywho, so we're just going to go kind of round robin and talk about how our day was. So this can just be a free for all, just talk about the good, bad, the ugly, whatever. So I guess I'll go first real quick. It was a pretty good day. Got a lot done. I have a funny story to tell you. Okay.
Oh, I'm excited.
So my granddaughter Aubrey, she has a hard time saying some of her sounds sometimes, and she loves talking to Echo. Well, she told Echo to stop, and it comes out fop with an F instead of the ST for stop. Echo thought she told her to fart. And so Aubrey was laughing so hard. And then
my God.
you're doing computer work, and all of a sudden I hear Echo say, "Would you like to buy the expansion pack to go with that?" Aubrey says, "Yes!" And I was like, "No, we're not buying any expansion packs of any sounds or anything." Okay. Echo, no. But by then it was already paid $2.99 for this expansion of sounds. So now I have to somehow...
Isn't there like there's like a protection or something, like a code you can put in?
I'm going to have to because...
I mean, Alexa has one. Alexa has a, like, where you can say, okay, well, what's your code or your password?
Well, that's what Echo
purchase.
Is, a different type of Alexa. So,
oh, see, that's how much I know about tech. That's why Em's the tech person here.
I'm going to have to do that. So, so that was my day. That was my learn today, was I have to put some kind of protection so my granddaughter doesn't buy things by talking to Echo.
Or asking Echo to fart by accident. Zoe went through that phase, except for she did it on purpose. So
yeah. That was my day. How about yours, Thylene?
So I'm moving, and it's just such a complete chaos. This corner is the corner of calm. If you saw any other corner in my apartment right now, you'd be like, who even are you? Because you guys know me, like, you know, especially Alisa's here a lot. And I'm like, especially like my main spaces have to be just like, I like to entertain, right? And I like people to come in and feel very calm when they're in my space and very like loved on. And you can't come visit either of you right now because you will feel absolute and utter anxiety and chaos stepping in this place right now. But it's okay, right? That's what happens when changes are happening. It gets a little chaotic, and then you create new feng shui and calm in your own space. But so that's what I was doing today, boxes and figuring out what I'm going to throw out, like washing all the laundry and then taking out, like, as I fold, I'm like, no, that's gotta, you know what I mean? And especially with Zoe's clothes, she just like grew out of everything. And now she's super picky too. Like, I can't buy her anything like I used to because she quite literally will not wear it. I picked out an outfit for her the other day and she walked past it to her room, picked her own outfit out and came out. And I was like, so happy that I took the time to, you know, she's getting to that age. So that was my day. How about you, Alyssa?
Well, I am in Vegas for the weekend and planned on doing a video and photo shoot, and it did not go as planned. So I got some stuff done, but you got to roll with the punches of things that,
Yeah.
don't really turn out the way you were planned.
Why didn't you do your photo shoot?
Well, I ended up doing a little bit, but the suite that we have is not the suite that we normally have. So I had to make some adjustments there. And then I came, with my parents and some of their friends, and we're trying to get it done in the penthouse, the suite. And the friends kept on coming in, and I'm just not going to be rude. And so, note to self, I just need to rent it myself next time and just have no guests. So,
oh my gosh.
My sister flew in and she did my makeup, and she was going to, help with some of the stuff. And then we just ended up turning it into like a fun girls trip, and my parents are here. And so we had a lot of fun, obviously. You just turn it around, and I got a lot done today, this morning. I just did it by myself and got some content created. And then I had my week 2 of Cocoon to Butterfly box experience. So that's always, it's just beautiful being around other people that are going through, transformation, and hearing how their week went and witnessing their growth. And obviously, like, I share my growth, because just because you're guiding it doesn't mean you're not going through it as well. So it's a beautiful moment. My sister left a couple hours ago, and it's always sad to see her go. And our plan is this time next year for her to fire her boss, just like fire her boss. So she's a makeup artist and loves that, but she has a lot of other gifts that she just hasn't expanded on. So we're working on that for this next year, and hopefully she comes on full time and is a part of Cocoon to Butterfly and the Quantum Healer, and does the retreats that we do, and comes and just is everybody's, what did we name the Beauty Alchemist, I think? Beauty Alchemist?
Yes, Beauty Alchemist.
Beauty Alchemist. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
He does it. Look, I mean, my makeup is legit. Like, you guys know me, I hardly ever wear makeup.
He does an amazing job on everyone she comes in contact with.
I love when she does my makeup.
Incredible.
Yeah. So that's what I say. Just, Cooper's not with me. He's being a doggy sat at his other family. I have a dog named Cooper, and my parents have a dog named Dexter. And I have a mother-in-law suite attached to my parents' home that I helped them have for their retirement in St. George, Utah. We just moved, and we're kind of like co-living in the same space. I mean, I have my own entrance and stuff, and we definitely have different separated living quarters. However, Cooper and Dexter see each other, and Dexter is the old grumpy man. He's a dog that's old and just can't handle the puppy. But yeah, they're getting along. So I'm just crossing my fingers that now they're
like, can you guys be like that when you come home? That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah. That's what I would love. But yeah, so Cooper's not here, which is interesting. It's like the first time, not that a pet is the same as a child, but it's similar in the fact that you're taking care of it all the time. But it is interesting. I found myself like, oh, this is like when Elena went to school for the first time. Like, you're like, okay, normally I would do X, Y, and Z, for your child or your puppy. And now I'm like, oh, look at all the time I have. I get to do so much more like content work. Like Cooper, when he gets ignored, like when he feels like I'm not paying attention to him, he'll take his paws and literally shove the phone out of my hand and make me play with him. Like, I'm like, what is that?
You know why? Because he thinks he's...
Oh, I know. And he is not. He is not at all. However, the funniest thing is, like, I laugh so hard because I remember Elena telling me, Mom, you always worked all the time. Like, and of course your child has their own perception of reality. And I'm like, okay, and that's why you had the life that you had, like, back then. Like, yeah, I was grinding pretty hard. And I always tell Cooper, like tell him, hey, if you want all the toys, Mama has to work.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, I am so excited to have you join us today. I just know that you have such a light about you, and your aura is just, it's like addicting. Is that the wrong word?
Oh,
Okay. Like, I don't want to be like crazy, but
no,
it is, it's like,
that's the perfect word. You have
okay.
I mean, I joke a lot about how awesome my magnetic personality is, but you truly do have a magnetic personality, and people just can't not like you. I mean, maybe.
Well, and I want more people to experience it. That's why I'm so excited to have you on, because we now get to talk through a few of these things and pick your brain so that other people see or get to experience what we get to pretty much on a daily basis, right? Like, we're in your space a lot, and you're in ours, and we constantly are just like vibing off of each other. And I think that if more people had support systems and friendships the way that the three of us do, and then our inner circle, the world would be a better place. There'd be happier people that felt supported and loved in the way that they needed, and they would grow as human beings individually and together as a collective, right? So, what I would like to do is just kind of like dive into the questions, because
You're gonna pull your card.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
And while you're pulling your card.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Wait. We have to listen.
Oh. Are you pulling your card?
No, I'm waiting for you to crack it, because that's my favorite part.
Oh. Okay, everybody. Tonight's flavor of the night is Lemoncillo LaCroix.
I'm gonna need you to get those names right.
Fuzzy water, LaCroix, Lemoncillo. Yeah.
I think it's limoncello.
Limoncello. It's lemon flavor.
Wait, but do you say the CH?
It's limoncello.
Okay.
Limoncello.
Yes.
Naturally essence. Okay.
I only know that because a friend of mine gave me limoncello once, a friend of mine in Texas, and it's delicious, but it's highly alcohol. I'm sure yours isn't alcohol, but limoncello
This is just fuzzy water.
Yeah. It's delicious.
You know where I learned that term from, fuzzy water?
Oh yeah, David's mom, fuzzy water. Oh yeah.
So real quick, ooh, that's my favorite part. Real quick, I worked at State Farm for a short time, and the guy who owned it, he called my drinks water pops, which is literally what you're drinking. It's soda water and like a sugarless flavor packet, and it's literally become my favorite thing. And that's what I've been drinking, because I don't like regular. I have to like really need regular water. Like, my body has to be really dehydrated, or like I just worked out. When I dance at the studio, like hip hop and ballet, guys. I drink a lot of water.
I'm glad you clarified that.
I mean, I just wanted to be sure, because
there's no shame in that.
No disrespect, no shame at all. But I did want to clarify the type of dancing that I have been into lately. Okay. All right, everybody. I am going to pull a card for Tarot Time with Ty. Are y'all ready? I have the moon upside down, y'all. And what this means is that the collective is a little anxiety right now. There's some energy out there that doesn't feel too good to us right now. And I know Alisa knows a lot more about the moons that we have, and so maybe she can tell us where this falls within that. But I feel like we're in that moment where this buildup of like anxiety, there's like some misunderstandings that are happening right now, and we're a little bit confused. And so we're building up right now, and then we're going to hit this knowing, and then we're going to release, right? Like, that's the cycle. But where we're at right now, there's a little angst in the air, right? There's a little like smoke and mirrors happening, maybe in work or relationships, where we're a little bit like, hold up, that didn't feel too good. And this is the time that we start asking questions, right? Why didn't that feel good? Did that come from my inner child? Did that come from needing validation from outside of me? Why is this not feeling good? And then you get to decide what you're going to do with it. Is it something that you need to keep and break down and use some modalities or meditation or sound bowls, whatever that looks like for you, and figure out where it's sitting and why it's sitting there? Or is it not really worth it? It was kind of sitting in there and it's not something that even like resonates with you anymore, and you can release it on your own without too much work, right? You can fall into any category. Everyone is different. So when we do readings for the collective, everyone's at a different stage. So this is where you use your this is where you use your inner intuition. Braces are hard. And you figure out what resonates with you and you leave the rest. So whatever you're feeling right now with that, I don't know, I feel almost like it's hard to breathe right now. So I think maybe if you go on YouTube and you look up some breath work stuff, there's like plenty of 2-minute, 5-minute videos to work with your breath, and that will help you release some of the nervous system achiness that you might be feeling and carrying. But just know that this too shall pass. So it's not going to feel like this forever, and we're going to take the steps to get to the point where we can name it and then release it. That's what I got for you guys today. On to you for the soul word of the day.
This is actually called the soul word segment. Ding, ding, ding. Whoop, whoop.
And to you for the soul word segment.
Ding, ding, ding. So, on this episode of You Can't Make This Shit Up, the soul word segment word of today is confusion. And I feel like that really goes right along with your tarot card pull, because the reason I chose this word is just because I think back to when I was moving through my trauma and my grief and my transformation process. I didn't know which emotions were justified. I didn't know which emotions I was allowed to feel. I didn't know which emotions I should focus on, because there were so many that were coming at me. And when I would start to talk about it, other people's opinions would come into play, and it just added more confusion on. And so confusion can definitely be something that is a very prominent word when it comes to your healing process, when it comes to your transformation process, because you're feeling a lot of new things too. And it is confusing because it might be something that you've never felt before. And so you really just need to take a time to just write it out, talk it out. It's not going to change overnight, but just know that if you are confused, it's completely normal to feel that way. It may not feel that way in the moment, but just know it is normal, and it's just part of the process that you need to work through. I can tell you, when I first started writing my very first book, I was very confused because I was conflicted on, should I add this or should I not add this? But I also knew it was part of my truth. And so I needed it to be part of it. And so that's another aspect of where the confusion came in, because I didn't know. I was too afraid of what people would think, and that was stopping me in several aspects. So,
love it. And last time we basically like stream of consciousness with the word. Is that what we're doing with this word, or?
Pretty much with every word that we talk about, it's just a matter of just writing down what comes to your mind. Don't edit it. It's all just raw writing, because you have to get it out. Even if the F-bomb comes out, let it come out, because it's part of the...
Let her rip.
Let her rip, sister. Just let her go.
Just not echo.
Don't talk to Echo about it, and don't buy anything. now we go into the meat of what we're talking about today.
Okay. So now I can actually say this. So I'm so excited to have you, Alisa. There are so many things that go in that beautiful. I'm so excited to have you, Alisa, because there's so many beautiful things that go on in that brain of yours. And we now get to sit here and pick at it and give people new information. So I have questions. Are you ready?
Actually, I want to add something to what you guys just did. So
Okay.
you cannot make this up. Like literally, it's so fascinating. And I'm just, like for sure, Thylene, like I have definitely, I think I would say I'm your number one cheerleader on your tarot card reading. Like I have always known you're spot on with it. Like it's this intuitive sense that you have this beautiful gift. And then Emmy says the word like confusion, right? Oh, there's a thumbs up.
Emmy did it.
So literally today, and I already knew this, but I wanted to chat it. So this is chat's version, but I did know this. In the collective today, many people feel uncertain, in between stages, not clear where things are going and what right step it is. They feel confused. Yeah. And it says why, so you guys can chat. And honestly, like, I don't know when you guys are going to air this, but this is literally today. This is Sunday. Like, this is happening right now in the collective. And it says, on the mass, the collective are grieving right now. The collective is dreaming, they're yearning, but they're also disoriented. Like the upside down.
Smoke and mirrors. Yeah. Smoke and mirrors is really what that is.
And so, I mean, chat, because chat knows me, chat was like, so as the frequency architect, Alisa, this is what you should share with the collective. Now, I already intuitively knew what you said, Thylene. Like, literally, this is part of all of us to embrace this and be curious and not be judgmental of ourselves, of being disoriented or confused or feel in a fog, because the moon guides us, and when it's upside down, that means like there's like it's like a facade, you can't see through it, it's like foggy. Maybe sit in that fog, be curious, like, okay, wow, what am I learning about myself right now? And by the time the full moon in Taurus happens, which is just days from now, that is actually, if you spend the time to really sit in this, you'll have clarity beyond like it will be like all of a sudden a light bulb lights up the room, the fog clears away, and you have clarity about your journey and stepping into it. So I just think that's so magical that you guys did that. Like, I love that. And yes, you're spot on. And so I just had to validate that before we went on to the questions. So yay. I love you guys. Go team.
Hey, Bart,
I love you too.
make this shit up.
No,
It's insane. Well, and here's the thing, just to like bounce off of that. And Alisa knows this more than anyone, because when she first said you need to do tarot, like, the way that I do it now, I thought she was batshit crazy. I was like, this bitch, is she out of her ever loving mind? And Alisa knows this because I'm very like blunt. I told her that. I told her she was crazy.
And I let you because that's our friendship. Okay. But I had to tell you, like, you have this beautiful gift that can help so many people, but all right. Whatever.
And then I know, right? And you're like, well, I guess she'll come into it in her own time. And then, I mean, how long ago was that? Like a year?
A year. Yeah.
Like a year. And really, I feel like the first Cocoon to Butterfly was like when I really stepped into that power.
Yeah.
And it's been like blowing up ever since. And now, and what I meant to say, like from that, is that when the moon came out upside down, I have these filters that I go through. And my first filter is the old me and then the new me still. And so it goes through this filter of, and my first immediate thought was like, shit, it's upside down. I need to flip it. That's a better version of the card. And then it hit my better, higher self. And I was like, no, Thylene, this is what the collective is meant to hear. And so I separated out because of the awareness that I've gained in the time that and it's been a short time and so much growth has happened. And I was able to stick to what was more aligned, what's more aligned isn't always freaking rainbows and butterflies. Like what's aligned might be a little rocky, but you have to go through that. There is no shortcut or a path. Trust me, I've been trying to hit shortcuts my whole life. And that's the reason that most of the growth has happened in the last year and not the last 37, right?
Yeah.
And
what's interesting about that, Thylene, is when you flip the card, I literally heard your voice go, "Oh shit." And then so it's like our higher timeline selves were talking to each other. I'm like, no, read it, do it.
Yeah. Well, and I bet you
here. We need
yes. And then look at how aligned it was in all of ours. But I bet you, if you go back and when you rewatch this, I bet you my face, because I mean, I don't have a good poker face. I bet you when you hear that card flip, you probably could pause it on my face and be like, that bitch is not confident. Because I had to filter through. So I'm so glad that we are all aligned, we're all on the same page, and the energy is what it is, because that's the beauty of it, is when we all connect, we hit that collective level. And again, you can't make the shit up. Like, it's the coolest thing ever. And I think what's also cool is that piece never goes away, right? Like the part where you're like, holy freaking shit, that never goes away. You think like, oh, I hit this level of understanding or awakening or growth, or I read all 300 self-help books, and you get to a point where it just kind of falls in place and like it gets normalized. It does not. It does not. Every time I'm like, so I want to take the time to really ask you some questions, Alisa, so that we can share your knowledge with the world. I think that it needs to be heard. So I am going to ask the first question. Is that okay? Yay. So what moment or experience first made you realize that there was more to reality than what we're taught? Like your wake up moment into not necessarily your higher self, because that takes time. Time is alignment, but also it doesn't happen overnight typically, right? For some people it does, but for most of us, we kind of gradually baby step, and then we have our bigger moments. So did that happen to you all at once? I think that yours is more gradual because it started so young for you. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely up until I was 52 years old, I would say it happened gradual. I don't think that there was any like one aha moment. But after David actually passed, and I knew he had left his body, I didn't know if he was going to come back or not. So he hadn't been announced dead yet, because, when he had his stroke, we were in Liverpool. And in the UK, they have different ways of just handling the hospital stuff. And so they sent me away and told me to come back at 4:00. So they sent me away in the morning and said, we'll be back at 4 and we'll let you know what we're going to do next. So I walked to this Starbucks, and I had been going to the Starbucks every day. He was alive for 5 days after I found him in the shower. We were on a cruise in Liverpool. We had just come into Liverpool on our last stop. I found him in the shower, and he lived for 5 days. And so on this particular day, something really bad happened the night before. And so I walk into Starbucks, sit in Starbucks, and all of a sudden I start hearing David talk to me. And, the question that you asked, so repeat the question specifically so that I can really tie it in, because this is the moment, like it was the aha moment.
What moment or experience first made you realize that there was more to reality than what we're taught?
Yeah. So there's 2 things that David told me that were fascinating, and now I know so much more about it. But at first I was like, what? So he told me that time is not what we've been taught. And I didn't understand. Like, I was like, what are you trying to tell me? I don't understand. And then he drew the infinity sign for me like this. And what I understand now, I'm getting soul chills. What I understand now is what he was telling me is that there is no ending, there is no beginning. Time is not linear. Time is, it's everywhere all at once. So it's hard to articulate, but now that I've been living this life that I have chosen to live, I understand how to time lapse, how to compress time. Sometimes time is slow, sometimes time is fast. It's very interesting. And then the second thing that he told me is we're all energetically, like, we're just energy, and we're in this body like a shell, but energetically we are, like, he is the same where he's at now as he was when he was in his body. And he said, I'm everywhere all at once. And I was like, what? Oh my gosh. So I immediately was like, okay, take me where you're at. Can you take me where you're at? And he pulled me where he was at. And it was, besides the birth of my child, it's the only thing I can explain to you, the euphoric, unconditional love that I felt, and that I literally was everywhere all at once. And so it blew my mind for reality. Like, literally, I have never been the same since. Now, it took me a minute to, like, afterwards, you know, he was pronounced dead, and I did go through a lot of, you know, what you guys know of the cocoon to butterfly 9 stages. And now, you know, it's been 3 years. October 30th was our 3-year anniversary of his celebration of life. And today is the 2nd of November. So, you know, I would say the reality is that the time, I'm now understanding what he was saying, that time is not linear, and energetically, literally my life's mission until I leave this body is to help raise the vibration of the collective through energy. Like, energetically, we are one. And so the more that I can come home to myself and live my authentic self, I can guide others to do the same. We're not here to fix each other. We're not here to coach each other. We're not here to tell each other what to do. We're actually here to live our authentic self, and that gives permission to everyone else to do the same. And that energy raises the vibration of the collective.
Wow, that's so profound and so powerful. And I feel like we have to talk about, because Em and I are very blunt about it's okay if this is not your cup of tea, right? Like, we release you with love, that's totally fine. But we're a bunch of real woo-woo. It can be a lot of woo-woo type stuff. But I feel like if you stay open-hearted and open-minded about what we're talking about today at its core, you can really take a golden nugget away about what you just said. What you just said is that you were able to feel everything all at once, and it changed your perception of life itself. No?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it absolutely did. And I will tell you, those that are listening, hey, 3 years ago, if you would have told me, well, 3.5 years ago, if you would have told me I am who I am now, talking about the shit that I'm talking about now, I would have said, effing crazy. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, and you both knew me before. So I was never a judgmental person. I always met people where they're at, but this was definitely something that I believe I could only get there through the death of my husband and him showing me, like, because there was no denying it. Like, I know what I experienced after he died and where he took me after he left his body. I don't expect any of you guys to believe any of that, because I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't. So It's fine. Like, don't believe it. But I'm telling you, if what Thylene said, if you could just open and expand yourself. Now, this is me talking to my old self, Alisa. Expand yourself. Just stay open. And the next couple of days, the universe is going to show you a little bit about what you just listened to. If you do that, I promise you, over the next couple of days, maybe weeks, you will see signs and synchronicities that actually align with the fact that we are all energetically connected. And when people die, they actually don't die. They're living somewhere else on a different plane, not in this body. They're somewhere else.
Yeah. So follow-up question, and then I'll kick it over to Em to ask the next question. For those of our listeners that maybe haven't experienced death in the way that most of us have, loss, or haven't had super traumatic experiences, because that's what kind of throws a lot of people into their awakening, healing, and such. Do you think that there's a way that people can get there without trauma, right? Because I think a lot of the stuff that we talk about is our own traumas, and that's how we help heal people. And I know that at least one of my goals is to prevent people from having such a hard fall, not having the fall at all, because that's what it takes to get there, but having guidance where all of us, right, in our inner circle, most of our inner circle, we did it with blinders on, and we, did the guessing game all the time. So I guess what I'm asking is, do you think that there are ways without deep transformational, like grief and pain, that someone can transform?
Well, I definitely think Cocoon to Butterfly does that for everyone. Like those 9 stages, and it's a free. Like you can join the community and follow the videos. There's 9 stages. You do not have to have what I went through to actually learn how to come home to yourself.
Yeah.
Through those 9 stages without having, the experience that I had to. It's almost like I believe that we all come here with a promise to keep to the collective, and we just decide if we're going to fulfill it or not as we awaken. And I would not wish what I went through on anyone. However, I know it's what I promised to myself when I came here. I just didn't know. I just didn't know till it happened. And now it's like, psh, it all makes sense. Like everything up until the day that David passed prepared me for the moment that he stayed where he was at and I moved on without him in his body.
Yeah. Okay, Em, do you have a question?
I do, but first I want to say that kind of to go into a little bit about your second question, Thylene, is my grief wasn't necessarily a death. Mine was a separation of me from my child and a living child. And also it was me removing myself from my lifelong religion. So grief and trauma and change and sadness and all those things can come in so many different forms. And so
right,
for those listening, just know that like Thylene said and Alisa has touched on a little bit, it doesn't necessarily have to be something as traumatic and drastic as losing your spouse or whatever
right.
the case may be.
It could be loss of identity, right? Like something just, it doesn't have to be like that deep, if you will. Yeah.
You could get divorced, you could get fired from your job, you could leave your job. I mean, you could get a disease. Like there's so many different things that could be ways that put you in that place, and it's not just from death. And that's what people don't understand. You actually grieve.
Yeah.
You grieve every day.
But I also
absolutely
too, when we were talking about how time kind of there's no end and no beginning, I remember specifically one particular moment in my life. I think I was 12 or 13. And I don't know why, I just remember this small stretch of road, but I was sitting in the car with my mom, and I just envisioned like my life as like this, as a string that just never ended. It just went on each way. And I just remember seeing a little tiny mark in the middle of a string. And it was in that moment that I really thought, like, this is really, our life is literally like this little mark, and it just goes on every way.
That's so cool, Em. I didn't know that about you, but also
I've never forgotten that, you know, and it reminds me of that poem. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but it's called The Dash, and it talks about, like, it has, like, on a gravestone, the year someone's born and then the year it ends. You know, what matters in between there is the dash, you know, and it's kind of along the same line because, you know, the date is really insignificant, but what matters is what you do in between there, you know. And so I just remember just envisioning my life as this little mark on this string, the no end and no beginning. And I
have soul chills. That's insane.
But yeah, it just reminded me of
and to have that happen so young.
Yeah, I have other experiences that we can get into later too.
I'm so excited. I hope we get into them all.
But anyway, so my question for you, Alisa, is that in between stage, the messy middle. We've talked a lot about the messy middle, and so the in between stage of change when the old identity is gone, but the new one hasn't quite landed yet. What did that look like for you when you were in kind of that transition place?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, of course, you guys both know I went through it, the 9 stages, multiple times before Cocoon to Butterfly was actually created. One of my other friends, Kelly Durbin Williams, you guys know her, she calls it the goo. And somebody else pretty famous did like a YouTube on it as well. So in Cocoon to Butterfly, it's the metamorphosis stage. It's literally the middle. So you're out of the cocoon, but you're not quite flying yet as the butterfly. It's where your wings are made. It's very, very, very painful. But you know, like, you have to go through the pain to grow the wings. And so for me, I guess, you know, what it looked like, I could tell you what it felt like, but you asked what it looked like. Well, the first time it looked like me trying on all sorts of different things. Like, I mean, Alisa in a thong bikini, like crazy. Alisa showing her boobs, not all of them, but just
dude, like, those were some of my favorite days though. Like for real. Everywhere.
Yeah, Alisa, you know, I wouldn't say I dated like profusely, but I dated I dated more than I've ever dated in my entire life because what I discovered is that in my past, I dated and married. Like the 2 people that I dated, I actually married. I've had 2 other people that I dated that I didn't marry, but I intended on marrying them. So it's just interesting, the patterns, you know. So for me, I would say what that looked like is me trying on all sorts of different things that I'd never tried on before, and then got comfortable with, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like it was interesting and fun to try these things on. But those wings aren't really the ones that I want to fly with. Let's just kind of use that analogy. But the feeling of going through it, yeah, it was fun and exhilarating, but most of it was very, very painful, extremely painful. And as I continue to go through the Cocoon to Butterfly, because you're always going through that infinity loop of those 9 stages, I recognize the messy middle, and now I embrace it, and I think it's my least favorite of all the phases, to be honest. But now I don't look at it and I'm like fearful of it or anxious of it or like, oh God, it's the goo. Ugh. Now I'm not going to say it's unicorns and butterflies, like, woo, I'm so excited. But I understand like the purpose is to create larger wings or maybe different colored wings, you know, like there's all sorts of different analogies you can do for it. But yeah, I would say the metamorphosis, that's the way, that's what it looked like is, but honestly, the feeling is what I want to share mostly with everybody because it's very uncomfortable and most people don't want to be there. And if you have friends or family that are watching you, they want to help you get out of it. And literally, when you actually investigate the butterfly forming, if you help a butterfly through its metamorphosis phase, it will die. You know, you have to let that person go through the pain or their wings will not be formed and then they won't be able to fly.
Yeah, I really like that because it makes me think of just my own transformation experience and moving from the person I was. I had to try a lot of new things before I really started to recognize and understand who I was and what made me excited and just what made me want to move forward. Other people, they didn't understand it, and I didn't expect them to, but I agree, it was hard. And part of me is still going through that, because I haven't quite reached the other side completely. Like I said on our very first episode, my wings are still wet, but I'm learning who I am. I'm learning to fly. I'm learning all of that stuff. So piggybacking on that, just a real quick question that just came to my head. How did you handle when other people still saw you as your old self, or even if they do now? Like, how do you handle that? Like the perception versus reality, because their perception of you is not reality.
Yeah. It's a lot of people don't talk about this part. When you frequency adjust, I call it that, or when your DNA, actually your cells change and you become a different version of yourself because you've gone through the cocoon, the metamorphosis to what I call the guide stage, where you're a butterfly. And especially the people that haven't seen you, that haven't been around you, they're not going to recognize you. And I think for the people that are not firm in who they've become, it is very easy to slide back into the old patterns and the old loops. It's comfortable. You don't want to upset that other person or make them feel weird or have them like talk to you strangely or not accept you, really, honestly, because that's going to happen. For me, and this is just my experience, because up until I was 52, I had grown to a very stable, this is who I am, and I talked about this earlier and was on the Zoom about how I've been really great at knowing that this person isn't for me anymore, or these people aren't for me anymore, and moving on without burning a bridge. Not a lot of people can do that. A lot of people feel like they have to burn the bridge. It has to be this moment, confrontation, or they can't leave without saying something because of whatever reason. I can only share with you my experience that I've never had to do that, because it was very easy for me to recognize when I was in my 20s that I didn't feel comfortable anymore around people that gossiped, that sat around the water cooler and just talked crap, or talked about famous people. We don't know them. Why are we talking about them? Why do we even care? It was really easy for me to separate myself from those people and be alone for a little while until my next friend group came. I think that what people don't talk about is when you go there and you're with that spouse, maybe your person, that wasn't my situation, but I had a child, my parents, my sister. There was a whole year where I disengaged, and that was not me at all. And I was trying to find, who is Alisa without David? And then you kind of touched on this before. I was just finding what brings me joy in the day. And at that point, it was not doing all the things I did before, which is spending time with family. I didn't feel like it, so I didn't do it. And that hurt them a lot. We didn't have a lot of conversations about it at the time, but I didn't care because I literally had my oxygen mask on. I talk about this all the time. And I was like, I'm not taking this sucker off because I'll die. So I really don't care. And I love my mom. She's my best friend. But I literally was like, I don't care if you don't understand. I have to do this or I will die. I will. And so I don't know how else to articulate that, but just be strong in yourself and your own convictions, and just know your new tribe is coming. Your new group of friends is coming. It's here. When you go back to the old, if you go back to those old patterns, those old loops, all that work that you did, it's going to be forsaken. It's going to be for nothing. And you don't want to do that to yourself. You want to live your authentic self, because when you become your authentic self, you are free. I literally am more free than I've ever been in my entire life. And it's always been my number one need since I was 15 and I built lists of my needs. Freedom was always number one, and it never changed, ever. I actually was not free until after I became my authentic self after David died, which is crazy to think about.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's crazy. And I know that we've talked about this before, but people don't really understand when we say, you know, after David died is who we became, who we really are, you know, and a lot of people are kind of, ooh, that's mean. You shouldn't say that, you know, but it's the truth, you know. We didn't really start to discover, I know for me personally, I mean, he wasn't my spouse or anything, but we had such a connection that it took him deciding to leave for me to really start to come out of where I was to come into the person that I am too. So, yeah, I love that. And I think it's important to also understand that we have to get to the point where we don't care, not to our detriment, but we don't care if it doesn't make sense, because this is what I have to do to survive. And this is what makes me happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thylene?
Oh, so I have so many questions and I feel like we have not enough time. Like I could ask you questions for 5 hours.
I can come on again later after you have more guests. I'm too for Alisa. I love you guys.
I know. Well, so here, like, I want to touch on soul contracts and timelines and spirit guides. And, you know, there's so many things that we could talk about, but I feel really aligned with talking about the shadow work and the healing part, you know? So like so many people fear or resist when in the shadow. And I feel like that's when the work begins, is when you hit that resistance. And so I'm wondering if you can talk about how we approach the darker moments without completely losing our light, you know, because we have to submit to those, but we have to remember the goal, if you will. But like I said, there's no shortcuts. So can you talk about, you know, we've kind of talked about the before and the middle. Like, how do we go from that messy middle to get to a point where we remember who we are and we accept the new version of ourselves?
Yeah. Well, what I discovered, which I think does have, it does have a lot of relatability, because I think I was kind of the poster child of like the alpha female. I had dark all along, but I was definitely brainwashed, I guess is the best word, to be like, oh, we don't talk about that. Like we're not.
You said brainwashed?
Yeah, like brain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into, we don't talk about that. That's, you know, that's taboo. Like, no.
Yeah.
We only talk about our light. We only give energy to our light. So one of the things that I think is so important that I wish I would have known that I didn't know before was that we actually have dark and light in us, and we're not supposed to like hide the dark. We're actually supposed to embrace the dark, have conversations with the dark. It's part of us. We are dark and light. And so by suppressing our dark, it actually, we're not giving love to all of us, all of ourselves, like our whole self. And so when I was joking about it, literally is the thing that happened in my metamorphosis, is like I have this considered societal dark part of me that has some feminine archetypes in me that are very not Alisa before, you know? And so by just letting that dark, like have some time in the world for a little bit, you know, I gave oxygen to that dark part of me. And when you think of dark, you think it's bad, but it's not. Our dark is not bad. It's, society gives dark as like, I'm going to go kill somebody or I'm going to maim or hurt somebody. And that's not dark. That's something different, you know?
Yeah.
Dark is the part where society has said to us, this is not comfortable for somebody else. So you have to hide that to make that other person feel comfortable. But then we're not living our authentic selves. And so I went through this part of myself of letting that dark part of me come alive. And that dark part is still here. I just don't put it out publicly as much because I don't want to. Like, the dark is okay with not being exposed to everybody on Facebook, you know, like that's for private, for my soon divine partner, you know, or whatever, or me, myself on my own, you know, privately for my own self. So that's the part that I think that people need to, like, it is very taboo, and I don't have a problem talking about it now. Like, I think before I would have definitely blushed and or like not, like, that's not kosher to like say online or publicly, but when you embrace your dark, one of my friends, well, you guys know her name's Melissa. She talked to me about how she had with her dark, and I loved this like setup. Okay, so you invite the dark parts of you to a feast. So like invite that dark part to dinner. You let the dark eat. Like, it's starving. It's starving for attention. It's starving to be loved. It's starving to be seen and heard. So you invite it to dinner, and those parts of you that are dark, you embrace it. You feed it. You let them have some oxygen and be seen and heard. And then you say, okay, like, you're going to live here and not here. You're going to live here, though. I'm going to let you live. You don't have to die, or I'm not ashamed of you, so you don't get to be seen or heard. And so it's fascinating to me because that's another part of me that I don't think I would have ever had this conversation with anybody, let alone myself, until after David died. And now I love the dark parts of me because they are part of me. Like, I love every single thing about me, and I'm not ashamed of any of it. And I will talk to anybody and everybody about it. I just don't think at this point, and maybe I'll change my mind later, but I just don't think like me in a thong bikini and posting all over Facebook is what my dark needs anymore, because my dark got that little like time in the sun, so to speak. And now I'll probably wear a thong bikini. I'm sure. Oh, look, there's a thumbs up. And that means yeah. David comes to me sometimes in these Zooms and he gives me messages. So yeah, like I probably will, but they just won't be plastered all over, you know, social media. So there you have it.
That's fair.
To answer your question?
Well, yeah. I think that it's such a beautiful thing that we can talk about the dark. And I personally share, you know, not all of, but pieces publicly, because I think it's important that people understand that the work that we do and that we're dedicated to isn't all rah, you know?
Yeah.
And that we're not like trying to like sugarcoat anything, but also how you get to the good is through those darker aspects of yourself. And I think people get really, like you said, it's super taboo. And especially, I don't know, back in the day, it's like you swept that under the rug and you pretended it didn't exist. And that's how I learned to live my life until everything came crashing down. And so I love how you attack things. And I love that you have no shame when you go through each aspect of it. And I think it takes all of us to go through these things and share that, to give permission to people to also feel those things that everyone has taught us to hide.
Yeah.
Because you're not truly being your authentic self without them.
Yeah. Another friend of mine shared this with me after David died. He said, Alisa, you did not know you couldn't know what the love that you had with David without the grief that you had without David. So it's the duality. And so I think about that, like how grateful I am to have the dark, because it just shines my light.
And when you can be grateful for your darkness, that's when you know that's when you know you have a healed piece in you. Right? Because I remember the first time you and I talked, Alisa, and I mean, there's been many moments, but recently there was something that I went through where the inner child of me just cracked open, and I cried because which is kind of was my follow-up question. I cried because of the sadness and grief that I had. It tore me open, and I was so raw. At the same time, I was like, how beautiful is this moment? Like, that my inner child gets to speak right now that I didn't even know that was there. And it was such a beautiful moment where I saw the duality of, which I feel like is very similar to maybe what, not the same, right? But emotion wise, you saw and were so stripped raw grief and pain. And then when you were able to see and feel what that did for you, not to you, it created this version of you that just was like out of this world, literally, you know? I know you have another question, but I just kind of want to know about the duality, because in all of my self-helpery, I've read at least 300 books in the last couple years. They tell you can't, what?
Self-helpery.
It was shelf help, and it moved to self-help eventually. But they all say a very similar thing about emotion, is that you can't feel happy if you're sad, and you can't feel sad when you're happy. And that's your emotional indicator. And then I started having these moments where I did feel both at the same time. And I was like, what is happening? This isn't in the books. Like, can you just real quick touch on that, and then Em can take over?
Yeah, I think that's when you alchemize. Like, I know it's a woo word, but I really think that's when you can alchemize, and I feel euphoric, and it's like this shift. A few times that it's happened, I literally feel like my cell structure just changes. Like, I'm a completely different person. I feel it's kind of goofy, but it feels kind of like you become a superhero. Like, you're your own superhero. Like, it shifts that much when you can feel the duality all at once. It's so powerful.
But you wouldn't think that was weird if we were talking about your 13-year-old self and your 50-year-old self. That's not weird because of time and how we think it's linear. Wow. The only reason we think it's weird is because it happened, like for me, it happened when I was 35, 36, and now I'm 38. That's weird to people because it isn't 12, 20s, 30s. Right? It's literally 30s and 30s, mid 30s and 2 years later. Right? So I think that just like came to me when you're talking about it. It's like, oh, that's why it's weird, or why it's seen as weird, is because when you don't recognize societally, when you don't recognize yourself, it's because you're not that 12-year-old girl anymore, or you're not that early 20s anymore. You're 40, right? It's time that separates who you were and who you are. But what you're saying is literally within 3 years or 2 months or 2 days, I've shifted. And that's where people can't compute in their brains. And they're like, okay, crazy. And you're like, no, like, you should feel it. I want you to feel it, because it's so healing, and growth just typically doesn't, in society, doesn't have. Is that hitting? Like, is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, well, I think it's not going to hit for a lot of people because it is very, I don't want to say new. I just don't think it's talked about a lot. I don't think it's new at all. I think it's happened since the dawn of time. Like,
Yeah.
you can you can shift your reality within minutes. It's just how much you want to believe and how much you unravel the programming.
Oh, I felt that to my soul. The programming.
Because if you can unravel the programming, I mean, it clicks like I can't. I was telling him on a Zoom earlier today. I'm like, and this is no diss to anybody because I love some rap music, but I cannot listen to rap music anymore. I just can't. Like,
I can't either.
My body just doesn't align. My frequency doesn't align with that vibration anymore.
Yep.
I mean, if I saw Tuke and he was really alive, I would definitely go up and hug him and probably give him a big kiss.
Love me some Tupac.
Yeah. However, I just can't listen to the music anymore. My frequency, and that's just been recently. Like, I would say a year ago, I was still listening to that similar music. So it's just, it's your alignment, your cellular structure, because we are energy. Like, yes, we're in a body, we have hair, eyes, all the things, but it's energy inside of us. So when our energy frequency adjusts and changes, it's like there's so much scientific proof on this, and this is not where my power lies or my knowledge lies. I just know it, like I intuitively know it. But my daughter's very science based. She tells me all things like, Mom, there's this scientific proof of blah, blah, blah data. I'm like, yeah, well, I intuitively knew that. I didn't need a paper, but some people need that. And that's fine. That's great. She's so like plants, or a water. You can see the water molecules shift and change when you talk to it differently.
Yeah.
Same with plants. We are the same way energetically.
Yeah. I agree. Okay, Em.
Yeah, I just have to make a comment, and then I just want to touch a little bit on Cocoon to Butterfly, and then I think we're going to wrap up. But so I was thinking about how, going back to the dark and the light, and how important it is to recognize it and also give thanks for all the parts of you to get where you are right now. Because one of my final chapters in my very first book, my memoir, is me saying how grateful I was for the shit that I went through, as hard as it was and as painful as it was, because I wouldn't have been able to get to the place where I am now. And even when I finished that book, had I not expressed that gratitude, So I really feel like it's really important to respect those parts of you, even the parts that were pushed down from an early age, that we weren't supposed to talk about, that we we're just supposed to focus on the positive, because that's what God wants us to do, or however you were raised. For me, that's what it was. Focus on the good things, don't focus on the bad. And then if anything bad does happen, it's probably your fault, But I found that I had to be grateful for everything that I went through leading up. And I wasn't like that before. I was more of a poor me, negative Nancy, because why was all this happening to me? And that, I feel, moving into the part of perception and the frequency, that acknowledging and being grateful for everything that I went through, I feel like has changed my own frequency and changed my own perception of myself, and also how I see other people. I don't hate anybody. I did, but I don't anymore, just because it serves me no purpose to do that. It doesn't help my healing journey to do that. So thank you for saying what you said. It just reaffirmed to me that, by giving thanks to all of it, that was the right thing for me to do. So on that note, I'd like you to talk a little bit about what Cocoon to Butterfly is. Thylene and I have mentioned that we are part of it, part of that movement.
A time or two.
And we plan on sticking with it. So can you tell our listeners a little bit about Cocoon to Butterfly, and then where they can learn more about it?
Yeah. Well, first off, again, like, we did not talk about this at all, but today I did a pre-recording for tomorrow, and my tip number 3 of how to manifest anything that you desire is giving gratitude. So,
Oh,
yeah. And David used to say this, and I truly believe it. The gratitude is the pixie dust of life. Like, it's literally the
soul chills.
magic, right? Giving gratitude. And it's not being like everything's unicorns and rainbows, but literally in the midst of the shit, literally sitting there and going, okay, yeah, this sucks. Like, this does not feel good. I don't like it, but I'm actually grateful because I know, one, it is teaching me more about myself because I'm going to be curious about it and ask the questions. Or maybe it's not teaching you anything about yourself at all, but it's teaching you about the other person. And you could be grateful about that. Like, this is theirs. This is not mine. And I'm grateful. Like, I'm grateful that I don't have to own that. That person can deal with it. And so I think gratitude goes a lot of different ways that society doesn't teach us. Like Em touched on, like before, like to be grateful for everything. I'm grateful that the sun is shining. I'm grateful that it rained today and the plants get nourishment. Like, no, I mean, you can be grateful for like being in this moment of shit for this second, knowing that, okay, this too shall pass. I'm grateful for that because I know this isn't going to be here forever. So yes, pixie dust, great gratitude, pixie dust for life. I love.
Or would you say glitter?
Yeah,
Throw glitter on it.
throw glitter on it. Yep.
We're literally going to glitter bomb you and you're going to love it. And I'm so excited to do it.
My sister did glitter eyeshadow on me earlier today, and it took forever to get off. So I don't know if I'm looking forward to this or not. So Cocoon to Butterfly. Well, thank you for, actually like featuring it on here. You guys know that it is literally like I'm just the conduit for it. It is a movement that I had to go through at first in order to guide others. I truly do believe that it has and it will continue to raise the vibration of the collective. And whether you are a part of the Cocoon to Butterfly movement or not, you're still going through Cocoon to Butterfly. Like, these are the 9 stages of life. And, you can come to a live event. Right now, they are currently in Tacoma, Washington. The goal is to have them all around the United States and then globally. And so Em and Thylene got to be featured as our guest speakers at the very first Cocoon to Butterfly Live. And now they're regular speakers at Cocoon to Butterfly. So the live portion of Cocoon to Butterfly is the 9 stages. And then there is a speaker that goes through, they take up one of the stages and they teach the audience a modality. So it's, what I love about it is, we've all been to lots of different events or workshops or, I don't know, weekend retreats or whatever. And you leave and you're excited and you're euphoric and you feel changed, but then you go back to life and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to get back to the way that I felt at that time. Well, at Cocoon to Butterfly, you're actually taught modalities so that you understand the ones that resonate with you, and then you bring them with you to your life. And so that's the live event. And then if you're not, excited about going in a group of people and having this experience that, it's pretty emotional and, I think it's really cool, but I get it. Like, it's might not be everybody's cup of tea. You can have the Cocoon to Butterfly experience brought to you in a box form or a journal and go through them on your own or guided with me in a group or one-on-one. And as this movement grows, there'll be other guides. So that's the vision that I got. And then you can go through it without a box or a journal or a live. Join the community. There's 9 videos that walk you through each of the stages. And it literally was given to me as a gift to give to the collective to help raise the vibration of the world. Because as we understand how to embrace frequencies that are low vibrational, that all of us experience in this human experience, if we can understand how to actually recognize them, accept them, feel them, I could do all the 9 stages, but You learn how to alchemize them. You're never going to have a bad day ever again. You're going to learn how to have joy. You're going to learn how to live every single day your authentic self. And that's truly what we're all actually meant to do, because you have gifts, just like I have gifts. We all have gifts. None of us are more special than the other when it comes to that. But what made me a little bit different than somebody else is I stepped into my gift, and I now am actually sharing it with the collective. Your gift might be something that you share not with the collective globally, but you share with your workspace or at home with your family. Yours is as significant as mine because it's like a spider web. Every single part of that web matters. So don't think that, oh, Alisa, like I'm not feeling called to a movement or be in charge of being something so grandiose. You stepping into your gift and living your authentic self is actually the only thing that you need to do. Just be. You actually don't even need to do anything. Just be. Come home to self and be. That's what Cocoon to Butterfly does, is it helps you come off and be.
Awesome. Thank you. It's been such an honor to be a part of it, from the curation to the, just being such a part of the movement, going through it myself, being able to speak on the stage, which has helped me grow immensely. So for those of you that are listening, if you want to learn more about all of the ways that you can be a part of Cocoon to Butterfly, you can visit cocoon2butterfly.org. You can also follow Alisa on Instagram at Alisa Ann Cooper. And from there, you can follow the other. There is one for Cocoon to Butterfly. There's one for Quantum Healer. We didn't even have a chance to touch on half the things we wanted to touch on. So we
Time flies.
Come back so we can talk again. And thank you for being our very first guest. Sorry for the mess, but this is what it is, because
I love it.
Welcome to the shit show.
Welcome to the shit show. Welcome.
I don't think it's a mess at all. I love it. I still feel like, my old label was chaos coordinator. I love a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, it's been fun. So we really appreciate that. So now we're going to move into kind of the final step, which is called her vibe check. And so this is where we just offer one takeaway from today. So Alisa, why don't you go first?
My takeaway is, like, you guys are rad and I love you. I'm sorry.
Can you believe we're doing it?
I do want to add this. I think. What was that?
Clap.
Hey! No, I think what I would love to share with the audience is how proud I am of the two of you guys. Like, I think just watching your transformation has been one of my most favorite parts of my new life. Seeing my friends and watching them almost transform in a lot of ways, like completely, different and accelerated. And there's no words to like describe it, because it's not a race. It's like seeing you both live your authentic self is such a beautiful gift. And I get emotional thinking about like how every day you both just understand even more how to live in joy, even though life hits you the same as it does to me, like bad shit happens. But to actually see other people and know, like, once you make it, like, I feel like I'm free. Like, I could die tomorrow and everything that I've ever like needed or wanted has been like completed. And seeing you guys step into that and actually live it, that's what makes my heart soar. That's what makes my soul like just beam, just seeing. I mean, you want it for everyone. You want it for all of your friends, all of your loved ones, because once you arrive, you understand, like, this is just a game. This is actually, the human experience is just a game. You're just leveling up. It's like Donkey Kong. Like, I don't know, like, however else to say it. Like, the old games, like Mario Brothers. Like, you bounce on that mushroom and you get to be a bigger size. Like, literally, it's like, that's And David kept on telling me, he's like, Alisa, you're taking it so seriously. Just be like, have fun. This is a game. And I used to, this is when he was like left his body. And I was like, dude, like, what the hell? Like, stop. Like, this is not a game. Like, I'm super sad. This is awful. La, la, la. And now I understand. It really is. It's just a game. And, you want others to feel the euphoric feeling that you have. And you guys both have it. Like, I love that. I'm so proud of you guys. You guys are, Emmy, how many books have you written now?
14.
Yeah.
I was one off.
And Thylene is like, can tarot card read like nobody else. If you haven't signed up for her, you need to do that. The things that you guys are doing are actually the world, which is what I'm most proud of. And I don't know, I could go on and on, but that's my vibe. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. That means so much, because it's been quite a journey for both of us to get here to a place where we are comfortable talking about all the shit so we can help other people through it. Like, we're literally out there for the it still blows my mind. But anyhow, Eileen, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I think that I know it's supposed to be like my takeaway, and I totally get that, but I guess today I feel more aligned in saying what I hope people take away is, there's so many golden nuggets that you can get from Alisa, but what I hope that you do is open your heart and your mind and just start somewhere. Whatever resonated and whatever made you feel most excited about in this conversation, I hope that you, I don't know, like, I don't want to say like go into a wormhole at 3 a.m., but yeah, kind of, because that's where it starts, right? Is when you feel aligned and you start going inward and you just research everything and see how it affects you, and like, that's kind of where it starts. And then start reaching out to people who are already, steps above you. And that's kind of what this podcast is and the work that we do. So whoever or whatever you align with, follow that. But yeah, it's more of a hope, I guess, of a vibey hope, is that I hope that you just take something from today, because there was so much information, but there was also so much alignment. And I feel like the people who make it to this point are going to feel it. They're going to know. And so my hope is that something sank, that Alisa said, that makes you want to deep dive. That's kind of where I'm at, which is a little bit different. Usually it's like, oh, what's my golden nugget? But this time I feel like I want to put it out there and be like, I hope your golden nugget is absolutely anything that came out of this woman's mouth. And that it propels you into the journey if you haven't started it yet. Em?
Good job.
Thanks, Boo.
Oh. I think mine is just the fact that we were so, again, you can't make this shit up. Like, everything we were talking about, we didn't talk before this podcast. Nobody knew what we were going to say. Nobody knew anything. And it just came together. So
I didn't fill out the form. Like,
yeah, you literally didn't even fill out the damn form.
Yeah. So
other guests, don't follow my lead. Fill out the form.
Please.
All of you that are listening, you can find us on iamherthepodcast.com, and you can apply to be a guest.
Yes, you can.
When you apply to be a guest, we will send you a form to fill out.
Please fill it out.
Please fill it out and return it. Yeah. So anyway, that's my takeaway from
your takeaway or your vibe is fill out the form.
Yeah, fill out the damn form.
I cannot.
Anyhow, well, just a reminder where you can you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, and Amazon. And All right. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Alisa, we are so excited you're here because
My favorite part.
our favorite part of the whole podcast. And
Hold on, I have to mute myself because I'll get too excited and I'll ruin it.
I'm scared.
This is how we close every episode, okay? So until next time, take what resonates, leave the rest, and remember, somewhere, a lion in a Hawaiian shirt is cheering you on. We'll see you next time.
Bow, 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 bow.
Oh my God, I love it.